The morning sun
Today, we
cast
gather to
long
reaffirm our
shadows across the
enduring
manicured
commitment to the
gardens of
values
Clarence
that
House
unite
as
us.
Queen Camilla sat quietly in her private study, a cup of Earl Grey growing cold on the mahogany desk before her. The weight of recent months pressed heavily upon her shoulders, each passing day bringing new challenges that seemed to test not only her resolve, but the very foundation of her role within the royal family. At 76 years old, Camilla had never imagined that her journey from Duchess of Cornwall to Queen Consort would be fraught with such personal trials. The public had slowly warmed to her over the years, recognizing her dedication to charitable causes and her unwavering support of King Charles. Yet behind the palace walls, a different story was unfolding, one that would soon require the most difficult decision of her royal tenure. The telephone call that had arrived 3 weeks earlier still echoed in her mind. Dr. Margaret Thornton, her longtime physician, had delivered news that no one ever wants to hear. The routine medical examination that Camilla had undergone as part of her regular health monitoring had revealed concerning results. Further tests would be needed, Dr. Thornton had explained in her gentle but professional manner, and the treatment plan that lay ahead would be both demanding and uncertain. Camilla had listened to every word with the composure that years of royal training had instilled in her. But inside, her world had shifted dramatically. She thought of Charles, who had faced his own health battle earlier that year, and how the stress of his treatment had affected not just him but the entire family. The irony was not lost on her that she would now face a similar journey. The Queen Consort rose from her chair and walked to the tall windows that overlooked the garden where she had spent countless peaceful hours. The roses were in full bloom, their vibrant colors a stark contrast to the uncertainty that clouded her thoughts. She had always found solace in gardening, something that connected her to simpler times before royal duties and public scrutiny became the defining elements of her daily existence. Her mind wandered to her children, Tom and Laura, who had grown up largely outside the royal spotlight, but had always been her anchor to the world beyond palace gates. They deserved to know what lay ahead, but she struggled with how to share news that would inevitably cause them worry and pain. The protective instincts of motherhood warred with the practical necessities of planning for an uncertain future. King Charles entered the study quietly, his footsteps muffled by the thick Persian carpet that had adorned the room for decades. At 75, he moved with the careful dignity of someone who had learned to pace himself through life's challenges. His own recent health scare had taught him valuable lessons about mortality and the importance of facing difficulties with honesty and grace. "You've been unusually quiet this morning," Charles observed, settling into the armchair beside her desk. His voice carried the concern of a devoted husband rather than the formal tone of a monarch. After years of marriage, he had learned to read the subtle signs that indicated when something was troubling his wife. Camilla turned from the window, her expression thoughtful but determined. "I've been thinking about our conversation with Dr. Thornton yesterday," she replied, her voice steady despite the gravity of the subject. "About what comes next and how we handle the public aspects of this situation." The couple had spent hours the previous evening discussing not just the medical realities they would face together, but also the unprecedented challenge of managing a royal health crisis in the age of social media and 24-hour news cycles. Every decision would be scrutinized, every public appearance analyzed for signs of weakness or strength. The delicate balance between privacy and public duty had never felt more precarious. Charles reached for her hand, a gesture that spoke of the deep partnership they had built over the years. "Whatever lies ahead, we'll face it together," he said simply. "But we both know that decisions will need to be made about your public engagements and royal duties. The people deserve honesty, but they also deserve stability." The weight of responsibility that came with their positions had never felt heavier. Camilla understood that her personal health battle would inevitably become a matter of public interest and national concern. The British people had invested their emotions and expectations in the royal family, and any major change would ripple through the monarchy and the nation as a whole. Over the following days, Camilla maintained her scheduled appointments and public engagements, but those closest to her began to notice subtle changes. Her usual warmth and energy remained, but there was an underlying current of contemplation that hadn't been there before. She found herself paying closer attention to moments of joy and connection, storing them away like treasures against an uncertain future. The Queen Consort's private secretary, Amanda Richardson, had served the royal household for over 15 years and possessed an intuitive understanding of the delicate dynamics that govern palace life. She noticed the increase in private medical appointments on Camilla's calendar and the careful way certain conversations were redirected or postponed. Professional discretion prevented her from asking direct questions, but her concern for the woman she had served faithfully was evident in her increased attention to detail and protective scheduling. During a particularly poignant moment at a children's hospital charity event, Camilla found herself deeply moved by the courage displayed by young patients facing serious illnesses. Their resilience and optimism in the face of uncertain futures provided her with perspective on her own situation. She realized that her position offered her the opportunity to handle her challenges with dignity and perhaps inspire others facing similar battles. The conversation with her medical team had been thorough and honest. Dr. Thornton, accompanied by several specialists, had outlined the treatment options available and the realistic expectations for each path forward. The medical terminology was clinical and precise, but the human implications were profound. Decisions about surgery, ongoing treatments, and long-term prognosis would need to be made carefully and with full understanding of their impact on both her personal life and her royal duties. Camilla's stepchildren, Prince William and Prince Harry, had been informed of the situation during separate, private conversations. Despite the complex family dynamics that had evolved over the years, both princes expressed genuine concern for their stepmother's well-being and offered their support in whatever way would be most helpful. The bonds that had been carefully built over decades of shared experiences and mutual respect would be tested and strengthened in the months ahead. The practicalities of royal life meant that contingency plans needed to be developed for various scenarios. Which engagements could be postponed or reassigned? How would official duties be distributed among other members of the royal family? What level of public disclosure would be appropriate, and when? These questions required careful consideration and coordination among multiple advisors and family members. Lady Sarah Chatto, one of Camilla's closest friends and a distant cousin to the royal family, provided emotional support during this challenging period. Their friendship, built over years of shared interests and mutual understanding, offered Camilla a safe space to express fears and uncertainties away from the formality of royal protocols. These private conversations became increasingly precious as the weight of public responsibility continued to grow. The decision to seek additional medical opinions came naturally, driven by both medical prudence and the recognition that any treatment plan would be subject to intense scrutiny. Leading specialists from several prestigious hospitals were consulted, each bringing their expertise to bear on the complex medical questions that needed to be answered. The consensus among medical professionals would be crucial in determining the best path forward. As autumn approached, Camilla found herself reflecting on the journey that had brought her to this point in her life. From her early years as a country girl with a love of horses and outdoor pursuits to her current role as queen consort, the path had been neither straight nor easy. Yet each challenge had contributed to the strength and resilience she would now need to draw upon. The royal family's annual retreat to Balmoral provided an opportunity for extended private discussions away from the pressures of London and official duties. The Scottish Highlands had always offered the family a chance to reconnect with each other and find perspective on the challenges they faced. This year, those conversations would be more crucial than ever as they prepared for the difficult months ahead. The decision about public disclosure weighed heavily on everyone involved. The British people had a right to know about significant health issues affecting senior members of the royal family, but the timing and manner of such announcements required careful consideration. The goal was to be honest and transparent while also maintaining the dignity and stability that the institution of the monarchy represented. Queen Camilla's daily routine began to incorporate the medical appointments and preparations that would soon become a central part of her life. Yet she was determined that these necessities would not define her or overshadow the positive work she had committed to continuing. Her patronages and charitable interests remained important to her, and she was resolved to maintain her involvement in whatever capacity her health would allow. The support of the palace staff, many of whom had worked with Camilla for years, created a protective environment that enabled her to face each day with confidence. Their professionalism and discretion ensured that she could focus on the important decisions ahead without worrying about premature disclosure or unwanted speculation from the media. As the season changed and the first hints of winter appeared in the London air, Camilla knew that the time for making difficult announcements was approaching. The medical team had completed their assessments, treatment plans had been developed, and the family had reached consensus on how to move forward. The next phase of this unexpected journey was about to begin, one that would test not only her personal courage, but also the resilience of the institution she had sworn to serve. The oak-paneled conference room at Buckingham Palace had witnessed countless historic discussions, but the gathering assembled on this crisp November morning carried an atmosphere of particular gravity. King Charles sat at the head of the polished table, flanked by his most trusted advisors, while Queen Camilla occupied her usual place to his right. The group included Sir Clive Alderton, the King's private secretary, along with senior communications advisors and select family members who would play crucial roles in the challenging period ahead. The purpose of this meeting was clear: to finalize the strategy for announcing Queen Camilla's health situation to the British public and the world. Every detail had been meticulously planned, from the timing of the announcement to the specific language that would be used. The balance between transparency and privacy required careful navigation, especially given the intense media scrutiny that surrounded every aspect of royal life. Dr. Margaret Thornton had provided a comprehensive medical briefing to the assembled group, explaining in accessible terms the diagnosis that Queen Camilla faced and the treatment protocol that her medical team had recommended. The prognosis was cautiously optimistic, but the treatment would require significant time and energy, necessarily impacting her ability to fulfill her regular royal duties. The medical advice is clear, Dr. Thornton explained to the gathering. Early intervention provides the best possible outcomes, but the treatment schedule will be demanding. Her Majesty will need to step back from many of her public engagements during the active treatment phase, though she remains committed to maintaining her involvement in causes that are particularly close to her heart. The communication strategy had been developed with input from multiple perspectives, including lessons learned from previous royal health announcements and contemporary best practices for managing sensitive public communications. The goal was to provide sufficient information to address public concern while maintaining appropriate privacy boundaries and avoiding speculation that could prove harmful or inaccurate. Princess, and known for her straightforward approach to royal duties and her deep understanding of public service, offered her perspective on the situation. The British people appreciate honesty, she observed. They have supported this family through numerous challenges because we have treated them with respect and candor. This situation should be no different. The timing of the announcement had been carefully calculated to avoid major national events or holidays that might overshadow the news or create additional complications. The palace communications team had also coordinated with government officials to ensure that the announcement would not interfere with important state business or create unnecessary distractions during critical political periods. Prince William, as heir to the throne, understood that his stepmother's health situation would have implications for the entire royal family schedule and responsibilities. We all stand ready to support the additional duties that will need to be redistributed, he assured the gathering. The most important thing is that Camilla receives the care she needs without worrying about the impact on royal engagements. The draft statement had gone through multiple revisions, with each word carefully chosen to convey the appropriate tone and level of detail. The announcement would acknowledge the health challenge while emphasizing Queen Camilla's determination to continue serving the British people in whatever capacity her treatment would allow. It would also express gratitude for the support of the medical team and request privacy during the treatment period. Catherine, Princess of Wales, had developed a close relationship with her stepmother-in-law over the years and offered insights based on her own experience with managing public attention during family challenges. The public responds well to seeing that we handle difficulties as a united family, she noted, showing that support and solidarity will be important as we move forward. The logistics of managing Queen Camilla's reduced schedule required extensive coordination among multiple departments within the royal household. Her private secretary worked closely with the master of the household and various equerry offices to determine which engagements could be postponed, which could be reassigned to other family members, and which are so important to the queen consort that arrangements should be made to accommodate them within her treatment schedule. The charitable organizations and patronages that relied on Queen Camilla's support were individually contacted and briefed on the situation. Many of these relationships have been built over years of dedicated involvement, and the leaders of these organizations expressed both concern for her health and understanding of the temporary adjustments that would be necessary. Several offered to modify their planned events to better accommodate her availability. King Charles had insisted that the announcement emphasize the continuity of royal service rather than focusing solely on the health challenges. This family has always adapted to circumstances while maintaining our commitment to the British people, he stated during the planning discussions. That principle will guide us through this situation as well. The international implications of the announcement also required careful consideration. Queen Camilla's role in state visits and diplomatic functions would need to be adjusted, and foreign governments would need to be appropriately informed. The palace's diplomatic team worked to ensure that international partners understood the situation and could plan accordingly for any affected events. Media preparation involved extensive briefings with royal correspondents and communications professionals who would be responsible for explaining the situation to the public. The palace sought to provide sufficient background information to enable accurate reporting while discouraging speculation or intrusive coverage that could prove harmful during the treatment period. The announcement was scheduled for a Tuesday morning, allowing for comprehensive media coverage and public response before the weekend. The timing also ensured that King Charles would be available for any necessary follow-up communications and that other senior royals could adjust their schedules to address increased public interest and media attention. Queen Camilla's own involvement in finalizing the announcement demonstrated her commitment to maintaining control over her personal narrative while fulfilling her responsibilities to the institution of the monarchy. She reviewed every aspect of the communications plan and offered input based on her understanding of public expectations and her personal comfort level with various approaches to disclosure. The days leading up to the announcement were marked by a sense of anticipation and careful preparation throughout the royal household. Staff members who had worked closely with Queen Camilla expressed their support through increased attention to detail in their work and their readiness to adapt to changing circumstances. The professional loyalty that characterized the royal household was evident in everyone's commitment to ensuring a smooth transition. Private conversations between Queen Camilla and her closest family members provided emotional support during this challenging period. Her children, Tom and Laura, visited frequently and offered to adjust their own schedules to provide additional support during the treatment period. These family connections remained a source of strength and stability as public preparations intensified. The security implications of the announcement and subsequent treatment period required coordination with multiple agencies responsible for royal protection. Medical appointments and treatment sessions would need appropriate security arrangements while maintaining the privacy and dignity that the situation demanded. The balance between safety and normalcy required careful planning and execution. The morning of the announcement arrived with typical London weather. Overcast skies, and a light drizzle that seemed to reflect the somber nature of the news that would soon be shared with the world. Queen Camilla rose early, as was her custom, and spent time in quiet reflection before beginning what she knew would be an extraordinary day. The official statement was released simultaneously across all royal communication channels at exactly 10 o'clock in the morning, Greenwich Mean Time. The carefully crafted words began to circulate around the world within minutes, carried by news agencies, social media platforms, and word of mouth as the British people and international observers learned of Queen Camilla's health challenge. The public reaction was immediate and overwhelmingly supportive. Messages of concern and encouragement began flowing in from across the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth, demonstrating the affection and respect that Queen Camilla had earned during her years of public service. The genuine care expressed by ordinary citizens provided confirmation that the royal family's approach to the announcement had struck the right tone. Government officials, including the Prime Minister, issued statements of support that emphasized the nation's confidence in Queen Camilla's strength and the royal family's ability to continue serving the British people effectively during this challenging period. The political establishment's unified response helped to ensure that the health situation would not become a source of constitutional concern or public instability. International reactions arrived throughout the day, with messages from royal families, government leaders, and diplomatic representatives around the world expressing solidarity and best wishes for Queen Camilla's recovery. These responses highlighted the respect she had earned through her international engagements and her role in British diplomacy. As the day progressed, the initial media coverage proved to be measured and respectful, focusing on Queen Camilla's service record and the family's approach to handling health challenges with dignity and transparency. The preparation and briefing efforts had clearly been effective in encouraging responsible reporting that respected appropriate privacy boundaries, while satisfying legitimate public interest. The evening found Queen Camilla and King Charles together in their private apartments, reviewing the day's developments and preparing for the journey that lay ahead. The difficult step of public disclosure had been completed successfully, and now their focus could turn fully to the medical treatment and family support that would define the coming months. The foundation had been laid for a period of adaptation and resilience that would test the royal family's ability to maintain public service while supporting one of their own through a significant health challenge. The British people had responded with a warmth and understanding that had characterized their relationship with the monarchy through previous difficulties, providing hope and encouragement for the difficult but hopeful path that lay ahead. Hashtag Royal Family Story. Third part, the private medical suite at the London clinic had been carefully prepared to ensure Queen Camilla could receive her treatment in an environment that balanced the highest standards of medical care with the security and privacy requirements of senior royal. The discreet entrance, away from the main hospital corridors, allowed her to arrive and depart without the disruption that might otherwise accompany such visits. Dr. Margaret Thornton had assembled a team of specialists who represented the finest medical expertise available in the United Kingdom. Each member of the team had been thoroughly vetted not only for their professional qualifications, but also for their discretion and understanding of the unique circumstances surrounding the treatment of a member of the royal family. The treatment protocol had been designed to maximize effectiveness while minimizing disruption to Queen Camilla's quality of life. The first treatment session had taken place on a gray December morning, with King Charles accompanying his wife despite his own demanding schedule of state business and royal engagements. His presence in the waiting area, reading official papers while remaining available for support, demonstrated the partnership that had sustained their marriage through various challenges over the years. The initial response has been exactly what we hoped to see, Dr. Thornton explained during consultation following the third treatment session. Her Majesty's overall health and fitness are significant advantages in this situation. The treatment is proceeding according to plan, and we remain optimistic about the long-term prognosis. Queen Camilla had approached her treatment with the same determined grace that she brought to her royal duties. Rather than allowing the medical appointments to define her days, she worked with her private secretary to maintain a modified but meaningful schedule of engagements that she felt capable of fulfilling. Her commitment to several literacy programs and domestic violence support organizations remained unwavering, even as other obligations were temporarily reassigned. The public response to news of her health situation had evolved from initial concern to sustained support and admiration for her approach to the challenge. Letters and cards arrived daily at the palace, many sharing personal stories of similar health battles and expressing appreciation for her openness about the situation. These communications, while too numerous to answer individually, provided genuine encouragement during difficult moments. Prince William and Princess Catherine had quietly expanded their public engagement schedule to help cover some of the duties that Queen Camilla had temporarily stepped back from. Their willingness to take on additional responsibilities without fanfare demonstrated the collective commitment of the royal family to maintaining continuity of service during this challenging period. The seamless distribution of duties helped to minimize any public sense of disruption or concern. The adaptation period required significant coordination behind the scenes, with various members of the royal household working to ensure that important charitable and ceremonial functions continued without interruption. The master of the household collaborated closely with private secretaries across the family to reschedule events, modify arrangements, and communicate appropriately with organizations that had been expecting Queen Camilla's participation. During her treatment weeks, Queen Camilla found particular comfort in spending time with her grandchildren, whose natural energy and uncomplicated affection provided a welcome contrast to the medical routines and institutional obligations that filled much of her schedule. These family moments reminded her of what truly mattered and provided motivation for maintaining her strength throughout the treatment process. The Christmas season presented both challenges and opportunities for demonstrating resilience and continuity. The traditional royal Christmas celebrations at Sandringham were modified slightly to accommodate Queen Camilla's treatment schedule, but the essential elements that the British public expected to see were maintained. Her appearance at the Christmas Day church service, though briefer than in previous years, sent a powerful message about her determination to fulfill her role despite personal challenges. The international diplomatic calendar also required careful management during this period. Several state visits and official receptions needed to be adjusted, with other members of the royal family stepping in to maintain important bilateral relationships and ceremonial obligations. The smooth execution of these modifications demonstrated the depth and flexibility of the modern monarchy's ability to adapt to unexpected circumstances. Media coverage throughout the treatment period remained generally respectful and supportive, with most outlets following the palace's request for privacy while providing appropriate updates on Queen Camilla's progress. The measured approach to reporting helped to maintain public awareness without creating the kind of speculation or intrusion that might have made the situation more difficult for the family to manage. Queen Camilla's approach to her treatment became a source of inspiration for many others facing similar health challenges. Her decision to maintain selected public engagements while prioritizing her health sent a message about balance and determination that resonated with people dealing with their own medical difficulties. Several cancer support organizations reported increased contact from individuals who cited her example as motivation for their own treatment journeys. The spring months brought encouraging news about treatment progress, with medical assessments showing positive responses to the therapeutic protocol. Dr. Thornton's regular briefings to the royal family painted an increasingly optimistic picture, though she continued to emphasize the importance of completing the full treatment course and maintaining appropriate follow-up care. The gradual return to a fuller public schedule was managed as carefully as the initial reduction had been. Queen Camilla's first major public appearance since beginning treatment was at a literacy charity event that held particular meaning for her. The warm reception she received from both the audience and the children who were the focus of the program demonstrated the genuine affection that had developed between the Queen Consort and the British people. Palace staff who had worked closely with Queen Camilla throughout the treatment period noted her resilience and positive attitude, even during the most challenging phases of her medical care. Her consideration for others, including medical staff and royal household members, remained consistent throughout the experience. This grace under pressure reinforced the respect and loyalty she had earned from those who served alongside her. The coordination with medical professionals extended beyond treatment to include guidance on managing the physical and emotional aspects of recovery. Nutritionists, physical therapists, and counselors worked together to ensure that Queen Camilla had access to comprehensive support that addressed all aspects of her well-being during this demanding period. King Charles's own experience with health challenges earlier in his reign provided him with unique insight into what his wife was experiencing. His emotional support and practical assistance with adjusting royal schedules and managing public expectations proved invaluable throughout the treatment process. Their partnership demonstrated how shared challenges could strengthen rather than weaken family bonds. The financial implications of the modified royal schedule were carefully managed to ensure that charitable organizations and public institutions did not suffer from reduced royal patronage during the treatment period. Alternative arrangements for funding and support were developed where necessary, and the palace worked to maintain the flow of resources and attention that many organizations had come to depend upon. Communication with Commonwealth realms and territories required special attention, as Queen Camilla's role in these relationships had become increasingly important over the years. Diplomatic representatives worked to maintain these connections through alternative arrangements, ensuring that the treatment period did not negatively impact the broader constitutional and ceremonial relationships that define the modern Commonwealth. The summer months brought the welcome news that the primary treatment phase had been completed successfully, with all medical indicators pointing toward a positive outcome. The careful monitoring that would continue for months and years ahead was presented as a normal part of ensuring long-term health rather than a source of ongoing concern. The first major international engagement following treatment completion was a state visit from a long-standing ally nation. Queen Camilla's participation in the ceremonial elements of the visit, including the state banquet at Buckingham Palace, marked a significant milestone in her recovery and demonstrated her commitment to resuming full royal duties. The experience had provided Queen Camilla with new perspectives on health, resilience, and the importance of medical research and support services. She began to consider how her platform might be used to support others facing similar challenges, while remaining careful not to overshadow the many other important causes that had long been priorities for her charitable work. As the treatment year drew to a close, reflection on the experience revealed both the challenges that had been successfully navigated and the strength that had been discovered within the royal family's ability to adapt and support one another. The British people had witnessed a demonstration of grace under pressure that reinforced their confidence in the monarchy's stability and humanity. The medical team that had supported Queen Camilla throughout her treatment expressed satisfaction not only with the clinical outcomes, but also with her approach to the challenge. Dr. Thornton noted that her patient's positive attitude and commitment to maintaining meaningful activities during treatment had likely contributed to the successful results. Looking toward the future, Queen Camilla and her advisors began to plan for a gradual return to full royal duties, incorporating lessons learned during the treatment period about balance, priorities, and the importance of maintaining health alongside public service. The experience had provided valuable insights that would inform her approach to royal duties for years to come. #Royal Family Story. Fourth part. The morning sun streamed through the tall windows of Queen Camilla's private study at Clarence House as she reviewed the final medical reports that would officially mark the end of her treatment period. Dr. Margaret Thornton had delivered the news that everyone had hoped to hear. All indicators pointed to a successful outcome, with clear evidence that the treatment protocol had achieved its intended goals. The careful monitoring that would continue was now characterized as routine follow-up care rather than active treatment. The transformation in both Queen Camilla's health and her perspective on royal duty had been remarkable to witness. The experience of facing a serious health challenge while maintaining her commitment to public service had provided her with insights that would influence her approach to royal duties for the remainder of her tenure as Queen Consort. She had discovered reserves of strength she hadn't known she possessed and had gained a deeper appreciation for the fragility and preciousness of good health. The palace announcement of her successful treatment completion was crafted with the same care that had characterized all communications throughout the medical journey. The statement expressed gratitude for the exceptional medical care she had received, acknowledged the support of the British people and the Commonwealth, and confirmed her intention to resume a full schedule of royal engagements. The tone was one of quiet celebration and forward-looking optimism. Public reaction to the positive news was immediate and heartwarming. Congratulatory messages poured in from across the United Kingdom and around the world, demonstrating the genuine affection and respect that Queen Camilla had earned through her grace and determination during the challenging period. Many of the messages came from individuals who had drawn inspiration from her example while facing their own health battles. King Charles expressed his relief and joy at his wife's successful treatment during a brief statement at an official engagement. His words were measured but clearly heartfelt. Her Majesty's strength and positive spirit throughout this experience have been an inspiration to all who know her. We look forward to her continued service to the British people and the causes that mean so much to her. The process of resuming full royal duties was managed with the same careful attention to detail that had characterized the reduction in activities during treatment. Queen Camilla's private secretary worked closely with various palace departments to gradually rebuild her schedule, ensuring that she could return to her commitments without overwhelming herself during the adjustment period. One of her first major public appearances following treatment completion was at a cancer research fundraising gala, where she spoke briefly but movingly about the importance of medical research and the dedication of healthcare professionals. Her words carried special weight given her recent experience, and the event raised significantly more funds than had been anticipated, with many attributing the success to her inspiring presence. The charitable organizations that had waited patiently during her treatment period welcomed Queen Camilla back with enthusiasm and understanding. Many had used the temporary pause in her direct involvement to expand their programs and develop new initiatives that they were eager to share with her. The relationships she had built over years of dedicated patronage had not only survived the interruption, but had often been strengthened by the experience. Queen Camilla's approach to royal duties following her recovery incorporated new elements that reflected the lessons she had learned during treatment. She placed greater emphasis on health-related causes, particularly those supporting cancer research and patient care. Her authentic understanding of the patient experience added credibility and passion to her advocacy that resonated with both medical professionals and the public. The international dimension of her return to full duties was managed thoughtfully, with overseas engagements gradually added back to her schedule. Her first international trip following treatment was to a Commonwealth nation where she had long-standing relationships, ensuring that the environment would be supportive and the schedule manageable as she rebuilt her stamina for more demanding travel. Family relationships had been strengthened by the experience of facing health challenges together. Queen Camilla's stepchildren, Prince William and Prince Harry, had both expressed privately their admiration for how she had handled the situation, and their support had been a source of comfort throughout the treatment period. The shared experience of concern and relief had deepened bonds that had been carefully built over many years. The grandchildren who had provided such joy during the difficult months continued to be a priority for Queen Camilla as she resumed her full schedule. She was determined that royal duties would not prevent her from maintaining the close relationships with a younger generation that had proven so important during her recovery. Time with family remained a non-negotiable element of her weekly schedule. Dr. Thornton and the medical team that had overseen Queen Camilla's care expressed satisfaction not only with the clinical outcomes, but also with her approach to integrating treatment into her life as a working royal. Her experience was seen as a model for how public figures might handle serious health challenges while maintaining their professional responsibilities and public duties. The experience had also provided valuable insights for the royal family's approach to managing health crises in the future. The communication strategies, duty redistribution protocols, and support systems that had been developed during Queen Camilla's treatment created frameworks that could be adapted for any similar situations that might arise with other family members. Media relations throughout the health journey had largely been positive, with most outlets respecting the privacy boundaries that had been established while providing appropriate coverage of significant milestones. Queen Camilla expressed appreciation for the professional approach that had characterized most reporting, acknowledging that responsible journalism had helped create an environment where she could focus on her recovery without unwanted intrusion. The return to full royal duties coincided with several significant anniversaries and celebrations that held special meaning for Queen Camilla. Her participation in these events, including the annual Trooping the Colors ceremony and various Commonwealth celebrations, served as public affirmations of her complete recovery and renewed commitment to royal service. Palace staff who had supported Queen Camilla throughout the treatment period were recognized for their dedication and discretion. The professional loyalty and personal care they had demonstrated had been essential to managing the challenges successfully. Their commitment to maintaining the dignity and effectiveness of royal operations during a difficult time exemplified the highest standards of public service. The financial management of reduced royal activities during the treatment period had been handled so effectively that there was minimal disruption to the various charitable and institutional relationships that depended on royal patronage. This success demonstrated the depth and professionalism of the systems that support modern royal operations. Looking toward the future, Queen Camilla began to consider how her experience might inform new initiatives focused on supporting others facing similar health challenges. She was particularly interested in programs that would help patients maintain their professional and personal commitments while receiving treatment, recognizing that her ability to continue working had been crucial to her emotional well-being during recovery. The annual review of royal patronages provided an opportunity to add several health-related organizations to Queen Camilla's portfolio of supported causes. Her authentic personal connection to these issues, combined with her platform as Queen Consort, promised to bring increased attention and resources to important medical research and patient support programs. Commonwealth leaders expressed their pleasure at Queen Camilla's complete recovery during various diplomatic communications throughout the year. Her role in maintaining relationships between the United Kingdom and Commonwealth nations had been effectively preserved during the treatment period, and her return to full international duties was welcomed by partners around the world. The Christmas season following her recovery held special meaning for the entire royal family. Queen Camilla's full participation in all traditional celebrations, from the Christmas broadcast preparation to the Boxing Day shoots at Sandringham, marked the complete return to normal family life that everyone had hoped to see. The joy and relief evident in family photographs from this period captured the successful conclusion of a challenging chapter. Academic institutions studying royal history and constitutional monarchy took note of how effectively the crisis had been managed, with several universities incorporating the experience into their curricula as an example of institutional resilience and adaptive leadership. The successful navigation of a serious health challenge while maintaining constitutional stability was seen as a demonstration of the modern monarchy's effectiveness. As Queen Camilla marked the first anniversary of her diagnosis, she reflected on the journey that had tested her physically, emotionally, and professionally. The experience had revealed strengths she hadn't known she possessed and had deepened her appreciation for both the responsibilities and privileges of royal service. The support she had received from every quarter, family, medical professionals, palace staff, and the British people had sustained her through difficulty and had strengthened her commitment to serving others. The successful conclusion of Queen Camilla's health journey provided the royal family and the British people with a demonstration of resilience, adaptability, and mutual support that reinforced confidence in the monarchy's stability and humanity. Her grace under pressure and determination to continue serving others, even while facing personal challenges, embodied the best traditions of royal duty and public service. The future stretched ahead with renewed optimism and energy. Queen Camilla's complete recovery had not only restored her health, but had also provided her with new purpose and perspective that would inform her royal duties for years to come. The experience had proven that even the most serious challenges could be overcome with determination, excellent medical care, and the support of family and nation working together toward a common goal.